Gleason is a documentary about the life of Steve Gleason, a former NFL player. After spending some time right here in Indianapolis, he did a 6-year stint with the New Orleans Saints. A lifelong special teamer, he was undersized for his position, but played with a lot of passion and very hard. His most notable on-field accomplishment was blocking a punt in the first game back for the Saints in the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina. And that one play became a rallying point for the comeback of an entire city. It's one of those things that's still talked about to this day. There's actually a statue outside the Superdome dedicated to that moment. As the film begins, Steve Gleason is recording a video blog for his unborn son. And the reason he's doing this is because not long after he found out he was going to have a son with his wife, had some pain in his shoulder, some muscle spasms, and turns out he was diagnosed with ALS. Also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a neurological condition where the nerves stop talking to muscles and the muscles break down because of it. And because Steve Gleason doesn't think that he will be able to teach his son, he begins these video blogs and a lot of writings to teach him these lessons. So his journey is told through these video blogs and also the documentary crew that is documenting the entire journey. This movie is rough. It's a hard movie to get through. It's incredibly heartbreaking. It is not long after he starts the blogs and they start recording his journey where things start to spiral down. If I had to describe this film in one word, it would be honest. Both Steve and his wife are incredibly raw and honest about the struggles they're having, not only dealing with Steve's condition, but also raising a young child, which almost exclusively falls on his wife. It is a battle for both of them. And it's a battle not only against a disease, but also a battle for family life. Steve opens a nonprofit for people that have ALS, and he decides instead of just giving money to treatments or trying to find a cure, he will try to make the people that have it now's life better by giving them computer technology that will allow them to speak when their muscles are no longer allowing them to speak. And they struggle at times in the balance between family life and nonprofit life, and Steve putting his all into the nonprofit, but also wanting to be a family man. It's a struggle, it's raw, but it's not without its lighthearted moments. It's not all sadness. There is a lot of humor. Steve approaches his condition with a lot of grace and humor for the most part. And I say for the most part because with anybody, you expect them to break down and get angry at times, and he does. It's a hard movie to watch at times, but it's a good story, well told, and it's honest and open, and I appreciate that they were honest and open about the struggles of dealing with something that is awful. Onward and Upward. Bad Company is a band. It's also a movie with Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins, but that is not this movie. The movie stars Barry Brown and Jeff Bridges. It takes place during the Civil War, and Barry Brown's character is dodging the draft, and he does so by joining a group of outlaws led by Jeff Bridges. But their relationship is completely based on a lie. It's based on Barry Brown's character being poor, which he is not. And along the way, they make some enemies who they have to deal with. If you've watched these videos long enough, you know that I'm not a huge Western fan. This movie is based less on being a Western and more on being a character drama. There are multiple lies going around within the group of characters, and the tension comes from when will they find out and how will they find out that everyone's lying to each other. It's one of those movies with a clever title that changes meaning throughout the film. But the standout role here is Jeff Bridges, using some pretty raw language. It was the Civil War era. I mean, the movie came out in the 70s, but it takes place in the Civil War, and the dialogue is in line with that. Just a warning for people who might not expect it, but a pretty fun little movie. Like I said, not a huge Western fan, but I enjoyed it. Edge of 17 stars two Haleys, Haley Steinfeld and Haley Lou Richardson. And oh, to be 17 again. I think this movie captures 17 really well. Haley Steinfeld's character is not having the best year of her life. Everything's going great, but then her best friend starts dating her brother. They are played by Haley Lou Richardson and Blake Jenner, respectively. And Haley Steinfeld's character finds herself swearing off her best friend and then kind of lost in high school. Already feeling like an outsider, having to navigate those social norms and not doing it super well. There is a boy that she thinks is hot, but he barely knows she exists. And there's a boy that really likes her and she barely gives him the time of day. It's all bad for her and she lets it show. Add to that her favorite teacher, or she would never admit it's her favorite teacher, but her favorite teacher, who's played by Woody Harrelson, is very honest and very just, I don't know if cynical is the word, but very just blunt with her. And Woody Harrelson is so good in this movie. He's a national treasure. This movie encapsulates very well what it's like to be in high school and have that drama. Haley Steinfeld is great in the movie. Even the supporting performances from Haley Lou Richardson, Blake Jenner, Kara Sedgwick's in this movie are all universally well rendered. This movie's as close as we're going to get to a new John Hughes film, and I think that's pretty high praise for this movie. I laughed a lot along the way. This movie goes down some well-worn paths, but it does it incredibly well. I dug it. I'd like to see it again. I have not said that about a lot of movies this year, but this one I really enjoyed.